Okay.
Attention, please.
Yo. 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 Yo.
Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Tuesday, December 26th, 2023. I'm astrologer Dave Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful holiday. And of course, I'm here to talk about that full moon that we are having today, right after Christmas. But of course, before I do, make sure that you join us, highvibe.tv. That's where I'm at every day with every show, every horoscope, all the weekly horoscopes, all the weekly sun signs. You know the drill. I haven't been ever stopping. And I also want to remind people that this is a big, big day. Thursday this week, I'm doing my 2024 predictions lecture. This is going to be to where, you know how my other ones have been, the big predictions, but this will be the most important one I ever did. Cosmic Phenomenon 2024. It's $24. You can live stream it. It'll be at 6 p.m. on Thursday on highvibe.tv on the apps or the website. You can go to highvibe.tv to get it. I also am putting up for in-person tickets if people want to check it out in person, be in the studio. But of course, the live stream tickets are what are available. There'll be limited tickets for in-person. I'll also be doing a spiritual dance music that follows, but I will be doing a spiritual dance music on Wednesday before. That's more official for this full moon. I won't be able to tonight because, well, we're coming back from a holiday and I got a lot to catch up on. Well, we got a full moon at home. It's home sign of Cancer. The moon rules Cancer, and this axis, Capricorn, Cancer. We've been playing this one a lot, especially since Pluto made its ingress into Capricorn all the way back in 2008. So with Pluto here at 29 degrees Capricorn again, this full moon is doing everything that it can. It's got a lot of good aspects. Don't worry, I'll cover that here in the chart. But we have to remember that no matter how amazing things are lined up or whether they're so-so or not, you can't escape the slowest planet making the craziest leap and making an ingress back and forth into signs, especially from Saturn's home twice or Saturn-Uranus. That's the real big deal. So how do we feel comfortable during these times? That's going to be a big thing to maybe actually release. Maybe the comfort is too much of the past. There's a lot of Pisces energy we're going to talk about. This Venus still in Scorpio, South Node in Libra. I think that our idea of comfort is not what is truly suiting us, especially when we look deeper into this chart. Let's take a look at this chart for today. The reason why I say that is because, this is a full moon in Cancer. It's a great place. It's dignified moon. It's happening at 4 degrees of Cancer, almost 5. But this is an awesome sextile over to Jupiter, and the sun is going to begin its trine to Jupiter, which I don't know if you've been noticing. I always talk about this so much, but you just keep going through the years, and the sun, whenever it's making its trine to Jupiter, just seems to come right before Jupiter stations retrograde or right when Jupiter is stationing direct, and always, of course, while it's retrograde or right before in a station, because remember that Jupiter is going to station direct on New Year's Eve. We also have this really intense Mercury retrograde that is becoming more, it was really good, and now it's beginning to become really weird. That's because Mercury has retrograded back, ingressed back into Sagittarius, and it is at detriment here, and Neptune has now come to 25 degrees of Pisces, And we have that square happening during this full moon. And of course, Mars is right there about to catch up with Mercury. Mercury and Mars is a barking dog. Can be hostile, and especially with Mercury in a very difficult square to Neptune. While Neptune, of course, is the ruler of Pisces. And with Neptune cruising through there, you want to talk about subconscious fog. And with Mars pushing that Mercury to try and believe or try and make stories up about what will feel better in your life. You got to remember this is Capricorn. And because this is the last time in our lives we'll see the Sun in Capricorn and Pluto in Capricorn. They're going to make their conjunction on January 20th and then conjunct again as the Sun will ingress into Aquarius on January 20th and then Pluto will follow right after, all on the same day. So we're less than a month away from Sun and Pluto making their last conjunction in Capricorn. And so this is our last Sun Pluto Capricorn energy. And so this is a great test. I mean, there's many layers when it comes to, well, how do we define a major Pluto transit? Well, we're down to not too many layers left. Pluto has so many layers. I mean, it's already been here since 2008. Even the ingress into Aquarius, ingressing back into Capricorn, stationing direct, waiting for all these planets that have been, especially in 2023, every planet has retrograded. We started a year off with the Mars retrograde. And that's what's really interesting is, Mars and Venus both made their retrogrades this year. And Mars at 25 Gemini. So we're at Mars 23 Sag. It's going to be interesting over these next couple of days of this full moon to see Mars come to the exact opposite point to the station retrograde degree that we had back on October 30th of 2022. But of course, it did station direct on January 12th at 8 degrees of Gemini. So this is going to be a full 180 now that Mars has done. We're on the opposite side of where we were. I mean, we'll use me for an example. Sophia was pregnant for like about a month and a half on Christmas and the New Year's last year. And, we just had our first family Christmas and everything. And Aurora is trying to talk and all that stuff. It's a complete 180, but you got to look at it as with Neptune stationing, or sorry, not stationing, but Neptune that's squaring that stationary degree that Mars was at, and Mercury now exact opposing to that stationary degree. Also, if you think about it, Venus made its first retrograde in Leo in our whole entire lives. It's stationed retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo this year. This has not been your normal and average year. And so it's been interesting. I've been seeing, I guess you can call them people who really don't follow astrology. I don't know what you would call those people, just people that don't follow astrology much, really start saying on social media, like, what is going on spiritually? I feel something really weird going on. Well, this is that Pluto transit. And so the moon in sextile to Jupiter is very positive for this full moon, but of course Jupiter is dead stopped. We're seeing it stationed this week. Jupiter's doing 4 minutes. It's not even moving at all. The sun, of course, trine Jupiter is positive, but with so much of the Sagittarius, Mercury retrograde, Mars, of course, I brought up those really weird transits that it's bringing us to 180 to look at from last year. It really is all about Mars, with North Node, of course, being in Aries, Eris, Chiron. Our comfort zones have to shift. And what do I mean by that? What we're releasing on this full moon is, in order for us to expand and grow our values, what we can create in our life, if we're too comfortable, we're not going to be able to do the Capricorn and keep climbing the mountain and keep taking a better stance in our life by making a better plan, by being more adult, by stepping up to the plate more in life. And I know we're tired of having to always be the bigger, better person, the one that takes the moral high ground. But this is definitely a time of last chances with the sun and Pluto. What side are you going to choose? The good or the bad, the dark or the light? And our comfort zones, whatever side you're on, can keep you in those places in a negative way, to keep not rising up to being better if you choose the good side of life and the light, or you just keep staying comfortable in the dark and keep going down into the dark and kind of still staying stagnant. The reason why is Uranus is making a semi-square to this moon. Now, that's a 45-degree angle. It's exact. It's not looking too easy. So, you know, I just got to say that looking at this energy of this full moon, there is this very Uranian anxiousness about the future and the structure, the physicality, where there really is, as I've been saying, since Uranus ingressed into Taurus back in 2018, I said you would be coming into a reality that would be unstable. And so this is a full moon that has the optimism. It has the foresight that, yes, there's positivity. What it doesn't have, though, is what that might physically feel like. You have to have that better just understanding, and you have to kind of take a Capricorn approach as, you know, imagine if you're a crab trying to climb a mountain and you just got out of the ocean. That's not going to feel good, right? So if you're looking at just Jupiter through this whole full moon, Jupiter's the big piece we're getting next year in 2024 when they both have that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. That's going to happen at 21 degrees of Taurus. But again, the South Node's in Libra, and Libra, of course, has Venus as the ruler. So with Venus in Scorpio, and that Venus has been making oppositions, of course, to all that Taurus. It's finished its trine to Neptune. But it's interesting to see that Venus here getting ready for a sextile to Pluto, but not happening yet. But it is so much of this dispositing aspect, whether it's Taurus or Venus and Scorpio, to that South Node. We need to look at Mars, and Mars is with Mercury. And so this is about a better understanding of how our mind creates little pieces to way crazier stories, way crazier observations. This is a time for us to observe better about our just local emotional environment and understand, I'll use a better way to put it, it could feel like electrical wire that you're tapping and like some fence. But if you just think of the world we live in today, whether it's solar flares or Starlink is beaming 7G down on you and you're trying to hide from your Wi-Fi router, yet you walk outside and you're being blasted with satellites. Okay? So, you know, I think that this is where are those little pieces that really are getting in the way of us doing bigger and better things? Because I hate to say it, I know a lot of people in the spiritual community, like you guys freak out over like cell phones. You guys freak out over a Wi-Fi router. Like you're walking outside, you're in the middle of the jungle. I don't care where you're at. Oh, I'm in Tulum, I'm safe. No, there's freaking satellites beaming 7 and 8G down on you. Okay? Well, at the same time, you're getting massive, CMEs. You're getting massive in every which way, whether it's frequencies or chemicals or whatever. So it's like, what's stopping you that's a belief system that's really off track, that really is tiny, that you've become too comfortable, and maybe that's not a comfortable place to be, right? Maybe you've gotten into a rhythm where, it feels good, you think you're going somewhere, you think you're creating something, but it really isn't doing that great, right? So it's like, well, I'm still healthy, I'm still alive, I'm turning off my Wi-Fi router when I go home. Maybe you're not looking at the whole picture here and being like, why am I freaking out about the Wi-Fi router when there's fucking Starlink spraying that shit down on me? Right. So this is a positive moment to me because it gives us that better opening, that opening of where actually the road in life is a big door that's going to help us create a better world, create a better life, and find the comfort that isn't about a search, but realize that, our values and this world is unstable. And it's about understanding that we need to get out of these weird belief systems and weird, feeling lost, if you want to look at it on a basic Mercury retrograde, of course, in Sag, detriment, squaring over to Neptune. But it's this forceful energy where we try to prove ourselves, or we try to force our mind to understand everything. This isn't about having a full understanding of too many pieces right now. Keep it in Cancer, keep it in Taurus, keep it in Capricorn. Keep it on what's my main objective and goal that I've had since 2008. What has been my destiny? If you've been lost with that, that's okay. It's time to be making those decisions about, hey, you know what? I could take my feelings. I can take, what I've been maybe too comfortable with that's not letting me grow. To me, this is about beautiful and amazing growth. I also feel that with Venus, that's been a nice trine over to Neptune. We see that one a lot. I've seen it since 2011. Okay, so we're all used to it. But there is some significance here where it's like, be easy on yourself. Don't be so harsh. When it comes to, whether it's the being too self-critical on yourself, that's maybe the belief system that's way out of alignment with spirit. What is the belief system that's out of alignment with spirit? We can all be better. We can all be better at how are we going to really bring and unite the collective together. It's very divisive out there. And that's what Neptune and Pisces, especially, that it's going to come to 29 degrees this year. Don't forget about that. In 2024, Neptune is going to literally come to the last degree, and it's pretty much the last minutes of Pisces, and take us into a world where you think it's crazy now as far as like feeling divisive or feeling odd or weird or otherworldly. Oh no, we're going full tilt here in 2024, especially with Pluto ingressing into Aquarius. In my case, I would say, as an astrologer, this is the signal. This Mercury Mars here is saying, let's start taking a look at where with Chiron, I forgot to bring that up. Chiron's going to station direct right after this full moon in Aries. All right, it's been retrograde here with a bunch of the other planets for almost half a year now. And, this fragile ego, it's okay that you've learned a lot of lessons about the attachment that you have to how you want things to look and it not being that way. So it's about letting go of that frustration and finding comfort who you are, where you're at, and that you're already born with. And at the same time, the universe is always going to provide other doors too that give you the amazing things that you can acquire within your self-worth, your own needs. Maybe it's tools, there's so many things you could be doing to advance your life forward. It's about getting out of these little stories that are stopping it. It's about realizing that there's a subtlety here about it. The faster in life right now that we try to go through to something, it's going to create havoc. So it's about taking our time. This doesn't mean stopping. It's not even as much patience as it is, let's make this work. Let's make this come together. Let's make this in my life manifest. And let's have a wide view, but not get too lost in it. And let's also look at the things that we've taken and, thrown too far. It kind of reminds me of fishing, like casting. It's almost like, did you cast that reel out like 2 years ago and never checked on it? And then the line just went so far out and you're still trolling and say, oh, I guess so. Pull that back in. Or just let go of that rod. Like, what thoughts, what ideas? The good news is I like Mars here and trine to the North Node. I like Mercury retrograde coming back to trine this. Of course, I don't like Mercury and Mars meeting, but I also don't like them meeting in square to Neptune, especially Neptune dignified. And I also don't like Mercury at its detriment here. And with Jupiter still retrograde, Mercury's dispositing that. And I would say that because Jupiter rules Sag, having Mars and Mercury come together here is about the feeling of lack. You need to be comfortable with what you have instead of focusing on what you don't. And that can go everywhere from money to physical to, of course, self-worth is the main one, I would say, and the belief construct that you've created. It's also an important time for our minds to be flexible. Not everything is for sure a conspiracy, and a lot of other things might just be. So it's about having that flexibility of mind and not being so for sure on everything right now, and remembering that we have a lot that's going to be revealed here as we enter and ingress into 2024. And it's going to be the year that will literally be the one that will probably be the biggest history book year of the last 1,000 years. With every event, and that's what I'm going to be covering, of course, on Thursday. But this is your preparation. Mercury retrograded in Capricorn at 8 degrees. It went direct after being retrograde already this year at 8 degrees in Capricorn. So this is like I put out a video telling people like, hey, this is like a signal. And now that Mercury and Mars square Neptune, this is where shouting won't get you far. Being upset and being mad, whether it's at others, yourself, the world, it's Neptune there. It's like, God, and screaming to God, why, God? It's okay. You're going to spill your drink all over your keyboard. It's not ruining things. And that's where this Uranus and semi-square here to the moon, to me, is making it very difficult for people. Because that sextile to Jupiter is nice. The sun trine Jupiter is nice. So it's a great full moon, but it's one for us to have a better understanding and be much more focused on the bigger things that we are creating and getting out of, the what ifs. Well, what if that happens? Or what if this doesn't happen? Get out of those. Get back to the plan. Get back to what you're good at. Get back to what you've already have, and watch those doors start opening up. And the good part of a semi-square here to the moon is you want your anxiety to go away. You want your anxious feelings literally to go away. Do something. Create something. Find comfort in making something happen in life instead of not. Because Chiron stationing direct that's following this full moon on the same day is literally the fragile ego that complains more than it does. And us healing that and us letting that go. It's one thing to have the idea or to even create, which to me, this is a full moon that could be easily the release of the most positive thing in the world, especially it's a positive full moon. I mean, it's got its weird things going around it too. Like I've said, Pluto at the end of Capricorn, the sun and Pluto for their last time in Capricorn, Mercury retrograde, Mars square Neptune. I mean, there's a lot of weird shit. But I think of it as like, you know what? We love that idea of what we're going to be doing, and then we don't do it. We can't be too harsh on ourselves. We can't be beating ourselves up, especially we don't want to discount our beautiful belief systems that are good for us and ourselves and the hope that we have to have. But we do have to make a shift here. This is a time for us to remember that the only way to deal with this Uranus moon is it's agitating your comforts that are directly looking at this sun in Capricorn saying, yeah, that's on the list. I need to do it. That's the way I'll get to where I need to go. If anything, the things that are feeling uncomfortable could be the deeper and the better understanding of what you actually need to start getting back on top of to get where you need to go. So wherever your problems are at, they're not in the construct you've created or the belief system. It's that person or it's that thing, or when they finally do that, or when the holidays stop, or when this happens, or when the new year happens, or when they finally break up with their boyfriend, or when they do that. None of that is it. There's so much good stuff. The sun trines Jupiter here. And this is our last sun Jupiter that are going to be in trine in earth signs. We're going to have to go through Jupiter and Gemini in 2024. We're going to have to go, and that's going to be in opposition, but I'm just saying, like, the trine will come when it's in Libra. And then, of course, we got to go through Jupiter in Cancer, and then it'll be water, and then Jupiter Leo. So, this is your last sun trine Jupiter, all right, in Earth. And we're saying goodbye to a lot of Earth stuff over this year coming up, and in 2025 with Uranus ingressing out of Taurus, Jupiter Uranus in 2024, and then, of course, Pluto being done in Capricorn, which it's been holding an Earth position since 2008. So you got to look at it like, yeah, the world's changing and the physicality of this reality is going through quite a lot, but where is it, these last places? Where are these crevices that you've turned into canyons, where you've fallen through the crack and made it feel like it's a canyon when it's not? About definitely self-worth, what you're able to create, how the world is, where the world's going, where your life's going. It's the stories that we're creating that need to be on extreme, not complete stop, but we need to make sure that what we're putting out in our beliefs is actually working for us and others in a beautiful way. Of course, there's things in life that we got to alarm people with, and I'm not going to lie, with Mercury retrograde that's going to station over Mars here, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be alarm belly in the world. More. The bugle horns of war to, I can go on and on and on. But this is about how do we deal with the understanding that spirit has our backs. And when we, whether it's our mission, our purpose, the things that we create, do it in the alignment of spirit, do it in the alignment of God, then is it that bad of an alarm bell? Because at least that we know that we're aligning ourselves more into a place. We can't, there's no excuses at this point. We gotta have compassion for ourselves, but we can't also create another excuse on top of an excuse. That's not compassionate. That would be just burying yourself in the Saturn Neptune energy, which of course have not been together for 500 years since 1523. I'm sure you learned in 2023 that it can feel like you're taking 4 steps forward, but you're also taking 80 steps back. That Saturn Neptune in Pisces is very, very slippery. And the fact that we have finally gone through both retrograde and now they're direct, they're not going to meet up in 2024. They're going to get close, but not meet up. They're going to meet up technically in Aries. That's the irony in 2026. But, we got to remember that it's about a year away, and or 2 years away, sorry. And you're going to have to catch yourself from sliding down crazy hills, whether you dip into the past, subconscious energy, or things that are not in alignment with spirit, or things that you keep putting on the back burner, or the more, lazy that you get. If anything, I look at this as use this to be a driving force for good, a driving force to have a better understanding of where have things gotten too much, and come back to a focus and come back to a positive view from the things that actually have something positive that you want to move forward in, and keep it simple. And then be willing to see the bigger growth. If we're in a place where all we're seeing is all these doors we want to open and only little things are happening, you're frustrated right now. This Capricorn energy can teach you to find what are the most important tracks in your life. I'm not saying stay on one track, but you know what? You have one or two, three. I know I just became a new dad this year, so that's a new track to my life. While I have to work, while I have to be a good partner, while I have to be a good friend, while I have to still be part of my family, while I got to still be in the spiritual community, while I got to, we have tracks, but to me, that's all like, I'm aligning all my tracks into the best I can to one track. And they all make sense. They all connect. And that's where Uranus and Taurus can help, and Jupiter. One thing about Jupiter is everybody always likes to say, it's so benefic, it's going to just give you good luck. To me, it's lessons. To me, it's growth and the understanding of where we could grow more. To me, it's where we're always too soaked up on where we've absorbed too much of the understanding. And for all of us, I don't care who you are on the planet, we all have self-worth stuff that we could be expanding more on in our life. We all have gone through self-worth tests for most of this year. And we all have some cool shit coming, but that always is when you're learning the lessons and when you're doing the work of the lessons and you're learning and you're growing and you're being honest. And to me, this is where the more, and it's hard, that Neptune's tricky in square to Mercury retrograde, especially in Sag with Mars there. You can feel like I'm doing good, I'm doing, and then just one little thing comes up and just whoop. And it almost kind of feels like, not just slipping on a banana peel, but slipping on a fucking 90 weight in the garage and fucking cracking your head open that quick. So you got to pay attention right now to the slipperiness of your subconscious. And that's why I'm saying, like, focus on the tracks, focus on, where's your self-worth not working for you because you're creating a story that's saying that's not possible, or you're doubting yourself. And if we can release those comfort zones that are actually kind of hidden, they're not comfortable at all. They're more of like us creating a comfort zone of like, maybe it's too much to make a change, or maybe it's too much for me to go create the thing I really want to in my life. We got to get out of those places, release that. And Mars is in at least good alignment with these nodes, and at least especially with the North Node being in Aries and Chiron stationing direct following this full moon today. I do feel like we can truly have a better understanding and a better focus. We're all going to have our little mess ups here and there, and we all have a lot that we've learned in 2023. And this is our full moon about finding that solace, which really is in a time right now where it's not about just sitting and chilling. Our solace is achieving the goals, going through the craziest, wildest year we'll ever see in our lives. And it's already been crazy. But, being prepared for that, being prepared in every way that you can with what you already have, because God's not putting you in a place with things that you don't have to go through. God's putting you in places where everything that's possible that you need, it will be there. But you have to have that better vision about that now, and you have to be willing to be comfortable in that. And if you're just like saying everything's fine, I'm comfortable and nothing's happening to me, it's like, have a better reflection now. Can you actually find a home where you don't always have to be right? Can you actually find a better home in yourself where, hey, we're all part of this learning lesson, and we're all still growing to be better, and we're all growing to be better spiritually? That's the big message, especially with Neptune. And also with Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus. Like, how I know we all have different values, but how are we going to still come together? And so we can all be better at understanding others, understanding those ways. And we all need to get out of our comfort zones where it's not actually comfortable because it's not moving anything forward. It's not utilizing the best skills that we have within ourselves, the best spiritual tools that we already have, the best tools that we can create with. And, this is a time for us to realize that we have to ask the universe and be clear for what we want. Maybe we forgot about that too with Venus and Neptune and trine. All right, so let's see what's the card for this full moon. So yeah, I'll be doing a spiritual dance music Wednesday, and then remember, Thursday it's going down. Don't miss it. The Cosmic Phenomenon 2024 live stream, $24. Go to highvibe.tv. I'm doing a huge presentation. Going to have live tickets for people in the studio, but of course, it'll be live streamed on the app with all the cameras, all the way we do it at highvibe.tv at the studios. My 2024 predictions, everything that's coming, how it affects you, how can you get through spiritually with also the reality-based mundane stuff that's happening, which it's going to be beyond wild. So if you enjoyed my 2020 survival guide that I did in 2019 and everything that happened in 2020 came true that I said in 2019 and the years prior, well, are you ready for what I have to say here about 2024? So make sure you get your tickets. It's at the link down below in this video, or go to highvibe.tv, click on Cosmic Phenomenon 2024. All right, let's see what we got here. Got a page of wands. I like it to keep it simple. Keep it positive. Keep it simple. It is a Mercury retrograde square Neptune, so there can be some deception here with Mars there. Don't push yourself and say yes to anything right now. Hear the positive message, and like any good page, they don't make the decision. The page sends the message. So I think we're going to get a lot of messages, and we have to start tapping in. Does this align? Does this feel good? And don't be coming from a negative place. Be like, let me sit on this for a minute. Let me be positive, and let me see how things are going, because tomorrow could change and the next day can change really extreme right now. And we got the Hierophant. Yeah, I feel like, this is definitely a card that I feel with this Page of Wands is very contradictory. I feel like, we have our belief systems, and they can be very attached. They can be very attached to wanting to prove to somebody, or wanting to prove to an ideology, or even prove to some sort of tradition, and this is how it needs to be done. I think right now it's a good time for us based off what I'm seeing. I'll put one more card here. Yeah, Ten of Swords reversed. I'm definitely feeling that this is going to be a week where it's like the patterns, we're still working through them. They're not fully just over and you figured this whole thing out. It's definitely a moment where stay with what's working, stay positive, but things are going to change here soon. And they're not fully at that change marker at this full moon. This is the marker, though, just even if you look at the new moon that's in 2 weeks, just give yourself the next 2 weeks. I mean, I'll be honest, give yourself a week when Jupiter stations direct and Mercury retrogrades over and stations direct on New Year's Day. I mean, we're just a week away, not even from already a massive amount of change coming, and Venus ingressing into Sag soon. And there's so much happening that I feel like that this is a moment where getting the grip on yourself and understanding where the pattern isn't been broken within yourself, where you've been holding on to maybe a belief that maybe you need to keep looking and see if it's still positive or not, and see what else is out there that's positive, but without getting too lost, and remember keeping it light. But what does excite you, and what excites you to where you do want to place a belief to where it's not going to bring you into places that just keep spinning you out of control. There's a lot still to reveal right now. Not a good time to say that you have full clarity. I appreciate you all. I can't wait to see you all for the Cosmic Phenomenon. Of course, that'll be on Thursday this week, December 28th, 6 p.m. Pacific, highvibe.tv. It'll be on the apps and the website. Of course, you get the recording once you're done, and I'm doing a live Q&A that follows. And also Spiritual Dance Music Wednesday. And if you're not on High Vibe, make sure that you subscribe today. Go to highvibe.tv. Much love. Thanks so much. I'll speak to you all soon. Hope to see you soon. If I don't, well, I know I will somehow. I know a lot of you all creep on me on High Vibe that aren't on High Vibe. And I appreciate that. Much love. I will see you all soon. Happy New Year.
Attention, please.
Yo. Okay.
Attention, please.